Hi, everyone. I don't know what we're doing here. I think it's called a TBR. It's not something I'm very familiar with, apparently, because I've not made one in like over 6 months. But we're here now, and I have an ambitious set of goals for the month for myself. It's a big step for me, that is to say, from going from a really big reading slump to finally sitting down and making a plan. Whether I stick to this plan, we'll see, because I literally filmed this video and a day later I was like, I think I want to completely change my plan. But I've sat with my new plan for a while, and I think I'm ready to commit and inevitably fail at this new TBR. So welcome to my first set of Christmas videos. I'm not doing Vlogmas per se. I did the math in my head, and Vlogmas is like, 12 videos is what I usually do, and I could do that with just by doing 2 videos a week. I just feel like people are more likely to enjoy what I have to show if I just spread it out throughout the month. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll leave it at that for now, because one of the videos I'll be doing is my goals for next year. So this month I have 10 books. Some of them are pretty chunky. I was thinking about the amount of books that I read, and then I thought about the amount of time I'm reading per day, even on my best days, and the speeds I'm reading them at. I'm definitely reading a book or 2 more than I probably can handle, but because it's the holidays, I do believe this is actually possible, especially given the progress I've made. It's December 4th, but I've managed to make really good progress in my first set of books. The first one I'll tell you about actually is The Way of King. No, it's not. Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. I did read Way of Kings earlier this year for the second time, partly because I did not vibe with it the first time and I was very confused. And I am so very happy to say that I am solidly engrossed within this series now. It's not an all-time favorite. It has a lot of problems, a little cheesy at times, and a little too convenient in the plots, but overall it's compelling and at times pretty surprising, if at other times predictable. But still, it's doing what I was hoping it would do, which is to say, be something that I can get lost in and have fun in, even if it's not an all-time favorite. And I knew there was a threshold for me to get past in getting to this series, but it's just so dense in world building. But I can solidly say, being basically 3/4 of the way through this book, that I'm definitely invested. Next book that I've also started is The Nazi Conspiracy. I don't know who the author is. This was a book that I believe I saw on a list somewhere. It was either Audible suggestions for nonfiction, or it may have been on the top 20 Goodreads suggestions. I haven't made any comments on the Goodreads awards, that is, but of all the ones that I saw, the categories that appealed to me the most was horror, which has been said by a lot of people, and also, honestly, history. I feel like there were a lot of really good options in history. The final 10, less appetizing, if that's the right word for a book. Between one of those end of the year suggestion lists, I've heard about this one, and it's narrated by one of my favorite narrators, Scott Brake, so I decided to start it. I just want to have a better chunk of nonfiction. Nonfiction November was pretty good. I think it really helped, but I want to make sure I release a couple more this month to make sure that it's a good sizable fraction of what I've read. Because it's been such a reading slump this year, I've opted towards comfort reads, and oftentimes nonfiction is not always in that realm. Next up, I'm going to say My Soul to Take. And this one was kind of a hard one to put on here. It's by Tanner Rudu. It's the 4th book in a African Immortal series. I read the 3rd to last one in October. It had the most cliffhanger of an ending, leaving me anticipating what's going to come next. And I want to sort of read this book before I lose that anticipation. Before, in the past, I was waiting at least a year between books. As a series, it's fine. I enjoy it, and I want to finish it. I've heard that apparently the last book isn't the best, but I really want to finish it. That said, it's actually pretty quite long. It's 16.5 hours. It's not bad, but still, that's pretty long. It's like 400 plus pages. Another reason I want to finish it is because I like to have some progress to show when I get to my spoilers into the year series wrap up, or series update at least, because it's not always a wrap up. Okay, All the Sinners Bleed, which is a thriller mystery that is on the top 10 Goodreads Awards list, and that's honestly why it's here, not because it's on that list, but because in the commentary videos I've been watching. But the point is that apparently this one's really good, and I have a lot of great thrillers this year, so I figured why not give it a shot. Thrillers are usually really easy to read, even when they're not the best books, that they're still enjoyable. Okay, next up, let's talk about some TBRs, some NetGalley TBRs, some NetGalley reviews I have to do. And originally, when I made this original video, I had actually overwhelmingly just focused on NetGalley, and I realized I'm not going to read nearly as much if I just try to read all these books that have been basically assigned to me. Assigned by myself, but still, it makes a difference. These are the few that I think are most likely to be really compelling, which again, that's the theme of the TBR, is I want to feel engaged during this holiday season, to make the most of the time that I have, and to try and push through more books than I thought I would. I am definitely going to meet my altered goal of 75 books, which originally was 100. But I'm feeling the motivation, so let's try to keep going. So what's the point? First up, Start a Villain by John Scalzi. John Scalzi is an easy author. I've only read Red Shirts by him, but I know he's an easy read, and I have a feeling it's probably going to be fun. I don't really know much about it. It still has a cat on the cover and the title, so I don't know what it's going to be, but I think it'll be at least a fun ride. Next up, System Collapse. This is apparently a full novel, a second novel in this novella series. And I've heard some people say it's just fine. I love this series. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I know some people, specifically Mara from books like Woe, talked about how she was taking a pause on it because it's not doing much new, and I can see that critique. So we'll see how I feel. I'm gonna leave it at that, even though that's always what I want to say. A Light Most Hateful. This is a horror book by Haley Piper. Haley Piper is an author way back in, I want to say, Trans Girl April, and I read her dark fantasy book, No Gods for Monsters, and that's not right. No Gods for Drowning. And I absolutely adored it. I loved the writing. I loved the characterization and the mythos used in that dark fantasy world. And I'm really excited to read up more of her books. I got granted this arc. That's why I'm reading it first. Otherwise, I might have gone to her older horror books. Either way, I really want to get to this one. Keeping going, three more books. Poverty, which was a book that apparently won a bunch of awards, even the Pulitzer. And I'm calling out this one for two reasons. One, his newest book's on the Goodreads Source Awards, which is what showed me this author. His name I do not remember. Where his newest book is called Evicted. This is about poverty, basically just talking about the working class, I think, and how the system does not do them justice. I was going to read Evicted, then I realized that's super long. I'm going to read the shorter one. Simple as that. Again, it goes back to my wanting to read some nonfiction for the end of the year. The Dragons of Eden, I put on this list, and I wasn't sure if I'd commit to it. It's a nonfiction that is by Carl Sagan. It's one I've wanted to read for a long time, and I'm mostly saying this because, again, it's kind of short. It's just one that I think I'm likely to enjoy. I haven't read a Carl Sagan in a while, and I love Carl Sagan, one of my all-time favorite authors, and he's in my top 10 books. He probably has, I think, 2 books in my top 10 books. So it tells you how much I love him and things he talks about. He's a scientist, planetary scientist, astronomer, or he was. He died in 1996. But anyways, continuing, lastly, I forgot about this one in my arcs. This was also a NetGalley arc, a NetGalley audio arc, Orbital. And this is about some people in space. I believe something's happening on Earth. Maybe Earth died. I don't remember quite. Part of the reason I decided I'm going to commit to this, even though it's one of my newest arcs, and usually I like to not do them too quick, is because it's pretty short, and I thought it could be a fun, somewhat literary sci-fi if it's done well. These things with arcs, they could be really good surprises, or they could be, man, why did I bother? That's the thing with going with books that you don't know anything about, author or otherwise. And that's what this really is. Still, it's short and intriguing enough to pull me in. So that's everything I plan on reading this month. It is quite a doozy. It's probably twice as many books as I've read on average the last 6 months. So it's a good start so far. I am nearly done with my first book, the longest book. So that is a really good sign, and we'll see if it works out. Come check in at the end of the year. I don't know if I'm doing a wrap-up. I haven't done a wrap-up in so long, but still, I will have more videos about general wrap-ups for the year, and you don't want to miss those. Again, thanks for watching. Let me know, what are you reading for this month? Oh, shit, I just realized something. I usually read A Christmas Carol, and I may actually read A Christmas Carol, but it's fine. Is it on my TBR? I don't know. Anyways, again, what are y'all reading this month? Anything for Christmas or for the holidays in general, for the winter solstice or the summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere like me. I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe and goodbye.